Hi guys, and welcome to the video for Chapter 7, Lesson 1, the Distributive Property. Make sure you have the following notes in front of you. What will I learn? Today we're going to learn how to use the distributive property to write equivalent numerical and algebraic expressions. So first, some vocabulary. Expressions are equivalent expressions when they have the same value. So equivalent is the same as equal, means they have the same value. And the distributive property can be used to write equivalent expressions. So with the distributive property, we could take an expression that's in one form and put it into a different form that is still equal. So what I did is, your notes page was a little faded, so I went ahead and wrote over everything, so you might want to pause the video and take a second to fill in all of the words there so you have good examples. But in words, the distributive property: to multiply a sum or difference by a number, multiply each number of the sum or difference by the number outside the parentheses to evaluate. So in algebra, over here on the side, get a different color. In algebra, if we look at the format, that means A times the quantity B plus C is the same as A times B plus A times C. So what we did is we multiplied the A to each quantity inside the parentheses separately. And we could do the same for subtraction. So A times the quantity B minus C, we will distribute the A to the B and A to the C. And so we have A times B, and this actually should be a minus sign, A times C. Putting numbers to it, if you could look over at these examples here, it'll show you if I were to do 2 times the quantity 4 plus 3, if I'm going to rewrite it using the distributive property, I'll do 2 times 4, and I can write it as 2 times 3. And so if I were to simplify this one down here, 2 times 4 is 8. And then 2 times 3 is 6, and 8 plus 6 is 14. Up here, if I did what's in the parentheses first, 4 plus 3, which is 7, I do 2 times 7, which is 14. So both of these expressions, using the parentheses and then also distributing, you get the same answer, and it goes for subtraction. So a way that we use this is we can use this for mental math to help us break down a problem that might be something that we would have to work out. So if you look at like 12 times 52, we can break, instead of trying to do 12 times 52 in our heads, we can break 52 would equal 50 plus 2. So that's where we get the 12 times 50, because you're multiplying 12 times 50, 12 times 2. So 12 times 50 is 600, 12 times 2 is 24, and that would give us 624. So use for the distributive property is to help us kind of solve problems a little faster using mental math. Turn the page, make sure you have the following notes in front of you. Example 1, use the distributive property to write each expression as an equivalent numeric expression, then evaluate the expression. So what we're going to do is rewrite this expression a different way using the distributive property, and then we're going to evaluate or solve it. So for A, we have in parentheses the quantity 6 plus 3 multiplied by 4. So if I'm going to use the 4 and distribute it, I'm going to multiply 4 by 6 and then 4 by 3 and add them together. So if I rewrite this, I could write it as 4 times 6 plus 4 times 3. So that would be my expression. And then now from here, I can go ahead and solve this. 4 times 6 is 24, and 4 times 3 is 12. And then 24 plus 12 is 36. So here's the expression, and 36 is us evaluating the expression. All right, example B. We have 3/4 times the quantity 9 minus 2. So first step is to use the distributive property to write each expression as an equivalent numeric expression, then we'll evaluate. So I'm going to distribute the 3/4 to the 9 and the 3/4 to the -2. So when I rewrite this, it's going to be 3/4 times 9 minus 3/4 times 2. So this is my equivalent expression right here. Step 2, I'm going to want to simplify this. So when I do 3/4 times 9, I would cross divide, multiply, simplify. I can't cross divide, so I'm going to multiply across, and 3 times 9 is 27, 1 times 4 is 4. And then I would do 3/4 times 2, so 2 can go into 2 once, 2 can go into 4 twice, and so I'd have 3 times 1 is 3, and 2 times 1 is 2. So if I'm going to do 27/4 minus 3 over 2, I have to get a same denominator. So this would be 27/4 minus, I can multiply this by 2, 6/4. And then that would result in 27 minus 6 is 21/4. And then 4 can go into 21 5 times with 1 left over. So the answer would be 5 1/4. Okay, example 2. On a school visit to Washington, D.C., Diego and his class visited the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. Tickets to the IMAX movie cost $8.99, and we're going to find the total cost for 20 students to see the IMAX movie, but we want to use the distributive property. So tickets cost $8.99, and we want to find the total cost for 20 students, but we want to use the distributive property for this one. So one way that we can do this is, first of all, let's start with, we would do 20 students, and then it would be $8.99 each for them to do this. So the way that we could break this down is, we don't want to break 20 down. We can break $8.99 down. So what I can do is I can distribute the 20 to the $8 and then the 20 to the 99 cents. So I'll do 20 times 8 plus 20 times 99. And then I can multiply those separately and then add them together to get my answer. So 20 times 8 is 160. And then 99 cents times 20 is going to give me $19.80. So if I add those together, I'm going to get $179.80. And yes, I totally know some of you are thinking right now, wouldn't it just be easier to just do $20 times $8.99? And yes, you are totally right, but we have to look what the problem is asking us. So the problem, they wanted us to rewrite or to find the total cost using the distributive property. So we have to know how to break down a number into two parts that could be added together so that we could apply the distributive property to it. Practice. So I'm going to do a couple more examples for you to make sure that we understand this. There's two parts to these problems. We want to write the expression, and then we want to evaluate it using the distributive property. So each of these show a number being multiplied by a quantity in parentheses, either addition or subtraction. So our first part is going to be to rewrite, showing the number on the outside being multiplied separately to both numbers on the inside of the parentheses, and then we're going to go ahead and solve it. So the first one, I want to distribute the 8 to the 50 into the 4. So when I rewrite it using the distributive property, we have 8 times 50 plus 8 times 4. Next step, I am going to evaluate. So if I'm going to evaluate, 8 times 50 gives me 400. And then 8 times 4 gives me 32. And then 400 plus 32 is 432. Number 2, 20 plus 9 times 5. The quantity 20 plus 9 times 5. So again, we want to start by rewriting this using the distributive property. So I want to distribute the 5 to the 20 into the 9. So I could rewrite this as 5 times 20 plus 5 times 9. So that's my expression right there. And then going back to evaluating, I want to find the answer now. So when I do 5 times 20, I'm going to get 100. And 5 times 9 is 45. And 145 is 145. Go ahead and do number 3, 4, and 5 on your own, and we will check them tomorrow in class. Example 3, use the distributive property to write each expression as an equivalent algebraic expression. So on these ones, notice that in the directions it doesn't say evaluate, because if you look at these expressions, we have variables involved, and we're not given any values for the variables, so we can only just rewrite them as an equivalent algebraic expression. There is not going to be a chance to solve them yet. So same idea, even though there's a variable, this still means 2.4 times the quantity 8 plus 5, and so I can distribute or multiply the 2.4 to the a and the 2.4 to the 5. So 2.4 times a would be 2.4 times a, and and then 2.4 times 5 would be 2.4 times 5. Now for this, I could even take it a step further, because 2.4 times a in parentheses could just be written as 2.4a. And then I can simplify 2.4 times 5, and that's going to give me 12. B, we have the quantity b plus 6 times 3. So first I'm going to rewrite using the distributive property, and then I'll simplify as far as I can. Can't find an exact answer though, because we have a variable. So we have 3 times b, which is 3 times b, plus 3 times 6. 3 times b can be written as 3b, and 3 times 6 is 18. So this would be 3 times b plus 18. Number C, we have 2/3 times the quantity d minus 3. So again, we want to distribute the 2/3 to the d and to the negative 3. So we have 2/3 times d, and then minus 2/3 times 3. So just cleaning up this part over here with the fraction, 2/3 d is simplified. And then we can cross divide, multiply, simplify, and this just becomes a 2. So 2/3 times d minus 2. Last one, be careful with your signs. This is a -7 being distributed to the e, and then this is a -7 being distributed to the 4. So we have -7 times e minus -7 times 4. That in there. So we would have -7 times e is -7e, and then -7 times 4 is -28. So clean up your signs. This would be simplified as negative 7e plus 28. All right, so go ahead and finish the following problems 1 through 5. Use the distributive property to write an equivalent algebraic expression, and we will go over these in class tomorrow. Thank you.